Welcome to Spirit Wisdom with Ginette Biro. I'm so grateful you're here as we explore the realms of spirit and consciousness together. I am a medium and a channeler, and I share messages from spirit guides, galactic beings, Mother Gaia, and more. This podcast is a space for heartfelt stories, profound insights, and the wisdom of lived experiences, reminding us that no two journeys are the same. So thank you for joining me, and I'm honored to share this path with you. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the podcast. Thank you so much for joining me. As always, I am excited to dive into the July energy update with all of you because there is so much to talk about, and there's so much changing. It's really interesting, and I do want to say I will touch briefly on the astrology, but I do have a full deep dive astrological podcast already in store for you guys next week. So check that one out. But I have 5 main points here that Spirit wanted me to talk about for July. And we're just going to dive right in because, again, there's a lot. Okay, so first point, this is really, really interesting. So I want to talk about timelines, and I want to talk a bit about Cern. So we have, I'm just trying to think of where to start. Cern, the Large Hadron Collider, has been turned off. That happened on June 29th. And it'll be turned off for the next several years so that they're saying they can fix it and improve it, make it bigger, better, faster, and then turn it on again. I believe it's in about 4 years. Now, what's really interesting is Spirit was saying, before I knew about Cern, they said that timelines were merging. And that they showed it to me like the imagery of a kaleidoscope when you see all the different kinds of colors and things. They said to stay out of fear as these timelines are merging. And I was like, okay, so I was going to dive into that. But then when I heard about Cern, I went in and I asked 3 guides of the light. I said, okay, what's going on with this? What does this mean? And I want to read to you what they said, because it kind of explained a lot about these timelines that are merging. They're saying that there's a lot of these personal potentials that are shifting with more clear direction. And this is why. So this is what the 3 guides had to say. We are the 3 guides of the light, and we're grateful to come through and share this information with you. With Cern shutting down, it is allowing for pinpoint focus to take center stage again. The shifting of timelines, like the kaleidoscope, comes down to a funneled center point. The amount of portals being opened before and timeline jumping with Cern running its massive Hadron Collider has led to a lot of confusion and disconnection in direction and momentum for many people. The glitches you perceived are very real. With Cern shutting down its Hadron Collider, it brings a sense of stability back to the collective energies by funneling it into a singular, massive collective timeline. All of your individual timelines still radiate around the circumference of this particular funnel. However, the direction is consistent. There will be less stops and starts in your lives and more cohesive momentum, maintaining its forward flow. If you have anchored yourself into authenticity, you will be able to flow through this river with more ease and grace. If you've been scattered with your own ignorance and disassociation, this funneled timeline may feel overwhelming. The astrological timing of the shutdown is purposeful as it provides strength in this reset. This reset is very purposeful on your planet to help shift out of chaos over the next several years. That does not mean the chaos stops in one day, but the singular collective funneled timeline allows for more stability overall. And I thought this was really interesting. And when I dove in a little bit deeper, they shared that this was part of like a divine intervention. I don't know the source. Was it the Galactic Federation? Was it the Earth Alliance? Was it what some people call the White Hats? I don't know who made this happen, but I do know that there has been a divine intervention at this particular time. And that's how this blends into sort of the second point, is that we're entering this intense shifting astrology. There's massive astrology happening this week and this month that is paving the way for this big reset, this hope in action. But that also comes with a lot of change and a lot of transformation. So the fact that, jumping back to my first point, Cern is shutting down or has shut down on June 29th for the next couple years, that is allowing for all of these, like every time the particles would collide, they would open these portal energies, these different time stamps within our collective timestamp. And when you cross over timestamps like that, it creates a lot of confusion, a lot of glitches. You could imagine like sparks popping, right? And that wreaks havoc on a collective timeline, which is what has been happening, why there's so many starts and stops and shifts and turns and glitches. And yes, there can be glitches when we are also going through our own ascension. But this has been yet another angle in which it has been sort of oppressed on the collective experience. So that being said, with it stopping on this particular time with the full moon as well, it's allowing for this new energy reset. And that's what the energy is this week specifically, but also coming into this month is this like Shannon, our astrologer at Avalon Spirit says, it's like a circuit breaker. It's a time to change the pattern that has been happening. And it's changing that pattern by following this bigger singular timeline for the collective while our own individual ones still run the perimeter of it, which I find really interesting. And so one thing to consider with the astrology, and again, the details of that will come in next week's podcast because there's so much. But the biggest thing is to really consider the high road and the low road of astrology. And one thing that Spirit really said is if you listen to astrologers online, and I love listening to them online, I think there's so much that they share that is beautiful. You have to feel in for yourself whether they're sharing the high road of that conjunction or planetary alignment or the low road. Because just as with everything, there's a high road and a low road. If you take your sun sign, for example, there's a high road of your sun sign, the good side, and there's a low road, the shadow side. There is that also in the astrological alignment. So as much as change and transformation and Uranus moving and the 4 outer planets having moved and all of this, it's also setting the stage for what is unfolding. And what is most important with this astrology is that you look at it through your lens of your life and as well as the lens in which you wish to see it from. Right? You might have 2 people born on the same day, maybe even say the same time, very similar astrology, looking at it from 2 completely different perspectives. Are you going to look at it from the high road or are you going to look at it from the low road? If you look at it from the low road, are you going to look at it as a negative or are you going to look at it as, okay, what is this going to expose for me to be able to shift and bring into power? Again, it's so valuable to consider what is your perspective? What is your perspective? So all of the shifts unfolding right now, your perspective is huge in helping to amplify these changes or to cause more chaos in these changes. It truly is up to you. Okay, now my next point, the third point is there is continued UFO UAP disclosure. Spirit is saying use your discernment. Do not play into false flag ideas. And remember that what you see in the skies can also be drones. There is, again, so much division in how this rollout is happening. There are a lot of whistleblowers talking about what they have been seeing, what they have noticed, what their experiences are, even with various types of beings, different galactic beings. There are some that have been talking about Pleiadians, reptilians, grays, mantis beings, and also plasmoid beings. And they have been speaking in Congress about this as well. Like this is coming front and center, as well as UFOs and UAPs. But then there's also the other side of the distraction plot, which is these false flag ideas, these false narratives, false stories, right? Where some of this can be human engineered based on alien technology, right? Some of this can be hologram displays. Some of this can be drone displays. And that's the unfortunate part right now, is that we have strong duality in what's coming out. So what Spirit said is, he said, really pay attention to your discernment. When you're seeing, hearing, experiencing these different things, what are you noticing? What is unfolding? What is the feeling within you as you're experiencing these things? Whether you're seeing it in person, whether you're reading about it, watching it online, what is the resonance for you? Because what I will tell you is the galactic connection that is making its way into our consciousness is of light. We are moving from a time when we had a lot of darkness, a lot of, say, reptilian control on the planet, into a time where we have more personal freedom of choice and awareness and consciousness in the human collective. Because it's a time where humans are meant to step up and evolve into their own awakening to become part of the galactic network. We're not meant to just be global anymore. We're meant to be galactic. We're meant to be so much more, and we're stepping into that. So we're moving out of fear narratives. We're moving out of control narratives into conscious evolution narratives. But again, because we have such duality on this planet, there's going to be a big push still from those that want to sustain control of the old paradigm to bring in more fear narratives, manipulate narratives, and based on what we see. We know there is energetic and frequency manipulation happening. We know there's been timeline manipulation happening. Again, that kind of connects back to Cern as well. There is so much coming from every angle, which is why Spirit is like, the UAP, UFO, ET disclosure is fantastic, but make sure you're following your heart, listening to your body's resonance with what you see and hear, because there's so many different angles. Okay. The next part, this is really interesting. Spirit said that relationships are on the chopping block. And this is really interesting because they're saying, get clear about what you're wanting in your relationships. This could be individual, like romantic. This could be friendships. This could be work relationships. This could be how you are in the world, right? Get clear on it, because they're on the chopping block. And it doesn't mean they're going to be chopped and like split. What they mean by that is, when you step on the chopping block with that relationship, it's a choice point in where you're either going to choose to step into deeper union or you're going to choose to separate. And the point of that is to allow you to help move with more momentum in the direction you want to go. And if the frequencies between the two of you are so disconnected, it's not helping you moving forward. It's not helping them either. So it's this energetic shift that's happening between unions right now. And so we're really going to notice this month, we're going to notice how that energy is shifting and changing. Okay, it's going to be really interesting. But Spirit is saying, get clear with yourself on what you want. Get clear in your communications, which is interesting because we're going into Mercury retrograde, which is all about communication. But also at the same time, Mercury retrograde is a time we get to kind of sort of pull inwards and reflect inwards. So in that, get clear with yourself on what you want. Reassess. Clean out the clutter within your being, your mind, and your energy, so that when you reach this choice point, this chopping block, you know you're choosing from a place of wholeness. You know you're choosing from a place of reflected confidence. Okay? Because the relationships that carry us forward are meant to help carry us in a beautiful direction. Now, at the same time within this, we are going to be seeing an even bigger divide in consciousness. And what's really interesting is we can even see this if we bring it back to Disclosure and the Disclosure Day movie. A lot of people have a lot of opinions, and that's completely okay. And I can have my own opinion too, right? There's no wrong in it. But there is a divide in those that are willing to experience it versus those that are afraid to experience it. And I mean this in, how do I explain this? Because you can be afraid of seeing, an alien movie because you're just afraid of it, and that's okay. But what I mean is they're afraid of the bigger picture. They're afraid of what the potential could show them. They don't want to expand into something new, even a thought, even an idea. And that's what evolution is about, and conscious evolution really is about, are you willing to explore different ideas, try them on, and then choose what you think about it? That's what conscious evolution is. It's not about one idea, but are you willing to try it on, ponder it, discern for yourself, and then come to a conclusion? That's where we're going to be really seeing the divide. And Disclosure Day, the movie, is an example of this, where some that absolutely refuse to see it are still sitting in an energy of fear, most likely, which could be holding them back from their evolution. Those that are willing to see it and try it on are moving forward in that direction. And I'm saying Disclosure Day is but an example of it. There are many other things coming forward this month that are going to be asking us, what do we think? What do we feel? Which direction are we going? And that's something we really need to pay attention to in this energy this month, right? What do you think? What is your direction and why? Okay. Very interesting. Critical changes, Spirit says. Okay. I also do see that there is, for July and August, there's a very, very shaky energy for a particular person that would be head of the government in North America, in a place that is not Canada. I hope that allows me to say it without getting squashed on here. I do see that this particular person energetically is on very, very shaky ground. And so we might see something shift dramatically in that way in the next 2 months, in terms of them either not being on this planet anymore or not being in a position of being capable. There's a big instability. Like when I see the energy of it, I see them literally on a platform that is shaking with a whole bunch of like pebbles underneath it that makes it completely wobbly and unstable. And it's like the physical body of this person cannot sustain frequency anymore. And it just at some point will not sustain it. So there is something about that. I was told that the body brain is falling behind, but the consciousness is not ready to release that vessel yet. So that's why there's that strong disconnect in the energy. So we'll see what unfolds with that. And then lastly, Spirit is saying again, with this month, is be very thoughtful on what it is you're choosing to do and why, but also, is fear leading you or is love leading you? And when I say is love leading you, I don't mean like unconditional love in a way that everything is okay and everything is possible and anyone can do anything or say anything they want to me because it doesn't matter. That's not what I mean by love. Love does have boundaries because love for self is strong enough to show a boundary. But love also has the lens to be open-minded, to feel compassion, to slow down to the pace that is comfortable for self to experience whatever it needs to experience. So are you being limited by something? And I'm just using fear as the energy, as the main energy. Or are you embracing the energy of love moving forward? What is the basis behind your decisions? And Spirit just wants you to be thoughtful of that, to ponder. What does it mean for you? So something to consider. And I think that's pretty much everything they want to share. I'm going to tune in and see if there's anything left here. They're just saying, time will tell the reveal of your destiny, but you can hear it and feel it if you listen through the lens of the heart, which is essentially love. So I will leave that with all of you for now. Thank you so much, as always, for joining me. And I do want to say, if you are wanting to also do a deep dive with me on disclosure and what's happening in disclosure right now, I am doing a deep dive on it in Cosmic Consciousness next Wednesday night. So that'll be really interesting. I'm really curious what Spirit's messages are. I have a lot that I want to say about it, but I know that they have a lot they want to say, especially the galactics. So you can sign up for that at avalonspirit.com. And I look forward to seeing you all there. So have a beautiful rest of your day, everyone. I'll see you soon. What if the gifts you've been searching for are already within you, just waiting to be awakened? Join me this November for the Lightworker Mentorship Wilderness Retreat at beautiful Loon Lake Lodge, nestled in the mountains of British Columbia. Over 3 transformational days, we'll step away from the noise of everyday life and immerse ourselves in nature, spirit, and deep intuitive development. Together, we'll explore energy, strengthen your connection to your spirit guides, expand your psychic awareness, and unlock the confidence to trust what you receive. Whether you're just beginning your spiritual journey or ready to deepen your gifts, this retreat offers a safe and supportive space to grow and connect and truly remember who you are. Spaces are limited. We'd love to have you join us November 8th through 10th to step fully into your light.